What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to be playing a little Iggy in the mid lane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have Healing Towers, Onslaught, Experienced, Mana Fountain, Spell Shield, and Overpowered spells for my gems. Now for my cards, I have Lamplighters, Advanced Evolution, Font of Experience, Mana Flow Acolyte, Radiant Healer, Power Tap, Protective Sentry, Stagnant Domination, Atomic Soldier, Stasis Rune, Yami Guardian, and lastly Corrosive Walker. Now we are here in mid lane just kind of doing that usual Iggy thing. I really wanted to play in the off lane, but we didn't quite have the team comp and with who ended up going support, it kind of messed things up. But hey, no problem. We do have a little bit of an early game rotation in this off lane, so I do head over and I'm actually able to secure that Kallari. From here, I actually end up just staying on this off lane side. Mid lane's kind of set a little bit, so I don't want to worry about it too much. I would really like to keep this tower from going down before 2 minutes. And, sure enough, Fang's able to head over, and he's able to really secure this and kind of push it back. Having that early game death in that off lane, you could see it really got a lot of damage on that off lane tower. Hopefully, we can maintain the off lane just a little bit longer, but as of right now, we are kind of scrambling. Now, I end up heading back to the mid lane, and you can see there's just a massive wave. I'm trying to deal with it the best I can. We do take a little bit of tower damage, but no problem at all. I do want to keep getting as much farm as I can, but you can see I'm really not focused on farm. I'm really trying to push this because, again, our off lane is getting just a ton of presence, and I might have to make another rotation. This is actually the first game that I've played with Iggy since that rework that he got just recently, so the V42 or V43 or V43.3, I'm sorry. This is the first match that I've played, and he still feels very solid. Stagnant Dominion is just an absolute insane card on him, and that's one reason I call it Stagnant Domination, because you just dominate with this card. Clearing that up because I've got a couple of people going, hey, why do you say that wrong? But yeah, I'm actually saying domination because, yeah, if you have that on Iggy or Gadget, it's just such a broken card that you completely stop enemy movement, and it's absolutely insane. Now, we do head over to this off lane again to really help Fang out. I'm trying my best to do something with that Chimera. I end up zoning out their Revenant, which, allows our Chimera to get out. But I am low at this point. I do need to head back to mid lane. You can really see I have not got a whole lot of farm. I'm only at 10 points because I have been rotating quite a bit. 2 rotations before 4 minutes in is, that's quite a bit. On top of that, we did get a kill, so that's really helping out with farm. But hopefully things can kind of stabilize from here. You can see the enemy Shimby actually went to that off lane, so this is going to allow me to really push this lane. Unfortunately, Chimera did get caught out, so he went down. We've had a lot of, deaths 4 minutes into this match. There's been quite a few kills and quite a few deaths on both enemy teams, and we really just kind of need to calm down at this point. We're doing just a little bit too much, but hopefully we can turn this match around. Now from here, I actually pick up Lamplighters, and I made the mistake of only using one of my Lamplighters, spoilers, but I really did this for Kallari, which I actually really enjoy having Vision as the mid laner, especially if you're playing someone like Gadget or Iggy. There's absolutely no reason not to have wards because, these two type of heroes should be using that stagnant domination. So I really like having wards with, both these type of heroes, and especially when the enemy team has a Kallari, being able to throw that ward on, he might or she might still absolutely be able to surprise you but this will keep you alive just long enough to either get another turret down or throw that Molotov out, pop your ult. You might be able to get some significant damage on before you actually do go down, and that's really, you know, the key to having wards. So hopefully we can make something happen. Now, I am just really trying to put tons and tons of pressure in this mid lane. I am, you know, just completely out of mana. But the main reason for this is you can see our off lane and safe lane have a lot of enemy presence right now. So I'm hoping by putting that ton of pressure on mid lane, that will really free my team up. And, you know, our Fang actually ends up going down. I say, you know what? I've got to go back, get some mana, and actually head over to help out our off lane. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to actually save this tower. I do try to head over and, you know, just wasn't able to, but that's really not an issue. I head back to my mid lane. You know, the off lane tier 1 is designed to fall, so I'm not concerned with it at all. And Shimby, you know, she does try to challenge me, but neither one of us are really fed to the point to actually taking the other hero out. I do have Advanced Evolution on, so that's going to help me deal with that poke quite a bit. And, you know, that's really, you know, it's really nice. Advanced Evolution is just such a great early game card, especially for, you know, a sustaining hero or someone like Iggy that, you know, that uses quite a bit of mana when they're, you know, actually placing turrets down and things like that. And really, Iggy needs to have a lot of turrets up to remain safe. So it's really nice having that Advanced Evolution on. I would definitely recommend picking that up if y'all aren't currently playing with it. But from here, I'm just going to kind of hang out. I want to keep my lane from, you know, pushing too hard and really just set it. You can see I'm not using turrets for this wave. I want my turret to be fully, you know, at health with time and everything for that next wave. And from here, we're just going to keep putting the pressure up. And since it is almost at 9 minutes, we'll be able to take that green or that river buff as well. Now, it is the purple buff, and one thing about the purple buff with Iggy is it's almost useless because you have to get set up. And let's say if you already have a ton of turrets set up, if you leave to go pick up that river buff, your turrets become inactive. And when you get close to your turrets, they activate again. So the enemy can actually see, hey, he's close to his turrets. If they're shooting, they know you're close by. So purple buff is kind of pointless because it does take you a little bit of time to get set up and, you know, just everything like that. Now we do head over to the off lane just to kind of help him out a little bit. And you see we've got a little bit of a team collapse, but it's really just to force them out. I want to get rid of some of that pressure. I am going to take a little bit of damage in mid lane. But of course, saving a tier 2 is much more worth than taking just a little bit of poke on a mid lane tower. You can see we've got quite a bit of damage on it, but that's really not an issue. It does, you know, hurt the team to have your tier or your mid lane towers fall. You know, that definitely hurts, but it's not a huge concern if you can save a tier 2. Now, my ward has gone down, so I am still, you know, completely aware there might be a collapse on me by their Kallari, and you can see Kallari actually does show up. We're able to just crank out tons of damage. You know, we've got these turrets up. I got my Advanced Evolution, so I'm healing back up, and then, you know, Shimby coming in, we were actually able to take her out and didn't even know it. And we're able to actually probably force that Chimera to back. You know, they really picked a bad time to go in. They should definitely wait until my turrets are up. But from here, I pick up my Stagnant Domination, and I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to start dominating. That paired with my Lamplighter will give me not only vision, but allow me to, you know, completely zone heroes. And you know, this is really great. I love having this card. It does so much work, does so much damage, and or allows you to do so much damage. And again, I do think it's a little bit broken on the heroes that naturally slow, but it does allow for just some amazing plays, especially with a hero like Iggy, who's, you know, they don't really have a whole lot other than their turrets at those higher stages. And if your turrets didn't really slow, hey, you just become a target and die before, your turrets would actually get to a full, duration. Now, we do head over to Steel, and I am able to get my turrets off. And you can see he stops moving, we're able to take him out. And from here, we're going to just absolutely be able to push this mid lane and finally take down this mid lane tower. Now, one thing is our Chimera left. You can see he's running away. He's going to go do jungle things. This is actually the time the jungler is most needed. Casters do very little damage to towers, especially Iggy, because if there's a hero around, I can't go under a tower. So I really needed him to stay in lane and help me push this tower. Fortunately, we are able to take it out, but it would have been very, very helpful for him to stay. That Shimby really shouldn't have stuck around. With me having my turrets up, we're absolutely able to delete her. Not only do we get that additional kill, but we're able to take out that tower. So, we're setting up for success, and hopefully our Fang can get some cards onto where he's got just a little bit more sustain, and we can really kind of end all these needless deaths that we've had. We've had, quite a few deaths in the off lane. I'd really like to see a little less dying and a little more objective playing, but it is what it is. Now, from here, I was going to back, but I said, hey, river buffs are up. Let's go ahead and take out river buffs. Kallari shows up, Kallari can't deal with me right now, especially with having some slows. I go ahead and throw down my other ward, so I've got both of the jungles warded here in mid, and that's great. I would like to have a ward in the mid lane so I can, have complete vision on Kallari, but it's really not that big of a deal. If I've got my turrets up, Kallari's not really a threat. Now, one question everybody always asks me is, how do you deal with Iggy? And there are two ways of dealing with Iggy: your ADC and your burst caster. Melee heroes cannot really handle Iggy if he's set up. So, you can, it's possible you can CC him and things like that, but his turrets are still active. So, like, someone like Rampage, Rampage might really struggle with that. But your ADC can absolutely destroy Iggy's turrets. So, they can stay out of range of Iggy and just tear his turrets to pieces. As well as your burst caster can actually target Iggy, hopefully out of range of those turrets. So, those are two ways of dealing with him. But as melee heroes, you don't want to go initiate on Iggy, because as soon as you do, he's going to hit his ultimate, and you're going to start taking tons and tons of damage, especially if he has that Molotov down. So, really, you want to avoid dealing with Iggy if you're a melee hero, because, yeah, he can just zone you out. If you can catch him when he's only got one, maybe two turrets up, and you're fairly tanky, as long as you can keep him CC'd, you can deal with him. But if you allow him to set up, melee heroes just have to leave him alone. And you can see this Shimby, even though Kallari came in, I'm just kind of dancing around. I've only got one turn up, and we were able to successfully handle her. So, as melee heroes, you just kind of want to avoid Iggy. Now, we are able to down this tier 2 in mid, and I actually head over to the off lane to help out with that. The enemy Iggy is dealing with the off lane, and if you see here, I walk straight into his Molotov. And this allows the target to start, hitting him. You can see the target just instantly targets him. I'm not too worried about the minions. I probably wouldn't be able to kill them anyways, so it's really not that big of an issue. I am trying to catch up to him, and we chase him a little bit. There's really no reason for me to keep chasing Iggy. Once you kind of miss that initial chase, you're not going to be able to catch up to your enemy. Stagnant does help out quite a bit when chasing, but if they're maneuvering around corners, things like that, you can't throw your turrets in the right spot. So, no big deal, just let them go. We did do a significant amount of damage. I'd have liked to got the kill, but hey, no problem. From here, we're going to just continue doing our mid lane thing. Now, from here, I say, hey, we need to take Raptors. And so I go ahead, ping attack raptors and get set up and, you know, actually go in on them. I thought we were going to have a lot more of a team collapse than we did, and I end up taking a ton more damage than I really would have liked. But we end up securing those raptors. One thing about Iggy is it's really hard not to kill things, especially with all the fire and burn damage, things like that. So when you are, you know, going in on raptors, try to hit the raptor with the most health with your basic attack, and this will really allow the turrets to hit elsewhere and, you know, not really focus on that almost dead that almost dead raptor, and, you know, really allow your ADC to get them. Now, we are having some presence in mid lane, and I do know that Kallari is, you know, she probably has not gone anywhere. So I definitely need to be careful, and I just need to wait for them to make a mistake. I'm getting my turret set up, and you can see their Iggy's getting set up, but I'm going to go ahead and take that Iggy out first thing. This really allows me to make a lot more progress. You know, Iggy, if he was able to get set up before me and then actually use that stagnant paired with his ultimate, he might be able to take me out, but he would definitely prevent me from getting away. Luckily, we set up before him, took him out, so hey, that's great. Now, Shinbi does end up heading over to mid, and I was going, hey, you know, I could probably take her, and I'm kind of setting up, you know, I've got a lot of my turrets, and I don't want to back too far away from my turrets so they're not hitting her. Revenant shows up and takes me out. You know, if Revenant wouldn't have showed up, even though I was very, very low, I might have been able to take that Shinbi, but, you know, that was probably a really poor choice on my part, and I should have definitely got out much before that, but hey, no problem. But with Radiant Healer and Healing Towers on, I was thinking, hey, you know, I've got the upper hand here. But we're going to fix that issue right now. I put on that Atomic Soldier, so now I'm going to crank out damage. So Shinbi's not going to have a chance to hurt me now. So I don't need to worry about those situations anymore. And we're just going to continue dominating this match. Now, once I do spawn back in, we actually head to the safe lane to really help that out. You can see now Kallari is slightly pushing that lane, so I want to help out. But as you see, I just kind of help out with that initial wave, and then I'm going to get out. I'm going to let our Murdoch continue to farm. I try and poke that Kallari a little bit, and then I actually head over to this jungle side. You know, Feng is here, so we need to show up and make sure, you know, everybody stays safe. Now, Kallari did go in Viz, and then you heard her jump right before Aurora's ult went off. So we're all kind of looking around going, hey, where'd she jump to? But we can't really deal with her. She's probably got a decent amount of damage on her. And at this point, hey, no problem. Let's just continue to push this mid lane. You know, that's exactly what we do. We do have a pretty good team collapse. And since I do have my mana fountain on, I've just got a massive amount of mana, so I can really stay right at this tower, constantly throwing turrets down, and this is really going to allow my team to push other lanes while keeping this just massive amount of pressure up on this inhib. And, you know, hey, that works out great. Once you get Iggy under, you know, at an inhib like this, it's very, very difficult to deal with him because, you know, yeah, Mana Fountain, it really allows me to just completely stay under. Revenant does come in to try to take out this Murdoch, and, you know, I can't see him, so there's not a whole lot I can do, but I end up ulting when that Kallari does show up. That really allows me to, you know, save that Murdoch's life, even though he does have to back now, but we are able to take out both that Kallari and that Revenant. Steel ults in and misses his ult, and, you know, hey, we're able to make real short work of him. You can see I'm just continuing putting these turrets down. I've just got so much mana. I'm actually getting a little bit low, so I'm just going to go ahead and back out. You know, I don't want to risk going down at this point. With their Kallari still dead, I know, hey, she could ult me and I'll die. So I want to get back before she spawns back in, and hey, that's exactly what I do. I go ahead and switch out my Protective Sentry for that rune. And, you know, I've been trying to do the Stasis rune with Iggy. I've had limited success. I still don't use just an entire whole lot of actives, especially actives that are, while you're in the fight. So I've still got to work on that a little bit, but having this rune, it has saved my life a time or two, but it's also just kind of delayed the inevitable a time or two as well. So, hey, no big deal. We're going to just continue. Go to that mid lane, throw my turrets up, get completely set up here and keep this pressure on this mid lane. Now, this is really kind of just boring standard stuff with Iggy. You can see I can't go into tower. I have to stay outside of the tower, but just constantly throw those turrets down. As soon as you have one ready, throw it down so it refreshes them. Just keep those turrets up. And you can see the ADC, they're actually able to take out my turrets a little bit, but hey, no problem. Just keep putting them down, and we'll keep trying to, keep this pressure up. We definitely want to really push this lane, and this is having a massive effort on the enemy team, so they're not defending the other lanes, and you can see they're naturally pushing. Now, we do chase this Shimby. I need to get out. I'm almost dead. And Revenant's right behind me. I end up using that rune, which it actually saved my life for, half a second. But I didn't have very much success with that rune that time. That Kalari being invis right there, that was hurtful. But you can see as soon as I left my defensive little perimeter, hey, I was dead. So, as Iggy, you really have to set up. It would have been nice if my team was pushing a lot more, and that definitely would have been a little more helpful, but it's really no problem. Now that I've spawned back in, I'm going to push thus off lane. Now you can see we do have presence at those raptors. Our team was able to secure the raptors. We need somebody to head to our safe lane to deal with that. I'm just going to kind of make the off lane my home, and hopefully by the time we're actually able to make a play happen, I've got this lane pushed, and I'm going to do the same thing at this. I'm going to push all the way to their tower, throw those turrets down, just keep that massive amount of pressure up so the enemy team is forced to deal with me. And, this is really how you play Iggy. You slowly push up, get that defensive barrier set up, especially once you have that mana flow, you've got, a little mana sustain. That allows you to just constantly keep that pressure up. And at that point, that's when your team pushes. They can push other lanes, or they can help you, with the lane that you're keeping the pressure on. But either way, the enemy team is going to have to come deal with you, directly. So, if you've got all your turrets set up, that can be a very big issue to deal with. Someone like Steel might be able to, ult in, and then Revenant might be able to kill me before, I'm absolutely able to erase them both. But it is a big risk. So, you can see here, again, I'm basically holding this tower off completely by myself, letting my minions come in, and our team is actually able to take out that other inhib. Rev actually rotates over to deal with that. This allows me to push into this tower, and we're actually able to take out this offlane inhib, which, again, it's really hard to deal with Iggy. Your ADC or your burst caster have to deal with Iggy, and without them having a ranged burst caster, it's much, much more difficult. You can see I am taking a lot of tower damage, or, that tower's kind of focusing me, so I have to be careful. I can't just stay in that fight. I've kind of got to go in, do, kind of aim my target, or aim my turret where I want it to go, and then dip out. But I'm still able to keep up this pressure. Luckily, my team is able to head over, and we finally do take out this inhib. So, it's GG at this point. We've got all three of their inhibs down. Well, before this video wraps up, I'd just like to say Iggy is an absolute blast to play. He's very successful when you're not facing a ranged AD or a ranged caster, such as a Shimby or even a Countess. Countess can come in and delete you, but that's where that rune comes in. You can stasis her ultimate, and boom, she's dead. I really like playing Iggy, and, I like him a lot more than I used to. I think he's a lot more balanced than he was, previously. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy, show me some love. Think about subscribing. Join our Discord if you haven't done it. I love playing with y'all guys, and, we've got a big group of people that just love playing Paragon with one another, so join if you need a group, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.